Hey everyone, I am back today with my cherry challenge layout for the month of October. This is a video series that I do with my friends Nicole, Natalie, and Jessica. We choose a challenge from a Cherry on Top's message board and we go ahead and complete a layout following that challenge. The challenge we've chosen to play along with this month is called A Sketch with a Twist. So here is the sketch, and the twist is that we have to put an arrow onto our layout. So let's get started. For product today, I'm going to be using my Vintage Vibes kit. So this will be layout number 2 using this kit. I have been loving the layouts created with this kit. Right now, most of the specific kit is sold out, thanks to all of you ordering them, and that's awesome. When I am completely finished with all the layouts that I planned with this kit, I will go ahead and create another one for you. So you, if you missed out on this kit, follow along, maybe pull some things from your stash that look similar. And if you want just like bits and pieces of the kit, some of it is still in stock. So I will link what is left in the description box below from this kit so you can grab little pieces. I know like the velveteen glaze is still available. The stencil is still available, and some of the paper is still available. A lot of the paper has sold out though. So this is the background we're going to be using today. This is the 49th and Market background, and you saw me just completely tear off a corner of it. I did keep that torn corner I ripped off. We're probably going to add it to another layout. And now I'm just going to ink the torn edge with some Vintage Photo Distress Oxide ink. I'm going to go ahead and take the brick stencil and the taupe velveteen glaze, and I am not even going to do a whole panel here because my idea is to create like a peekaboo corner on this layout. So I just have a strip, it's probably like 3 inches, maybe 4 of paper that just white paper cardstock from my stash that I knew would handle mixed media perfectly fine. I'm just going to go ahead and put that velveteen glaze through the stencil. And see, I'm just making sure that I am stenciling enough of a section that I will be able to have that brickwork kind of peeking out from behind my background paper. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to come back with my photos. So the sketch today has 4 photos on it, and I did go ahead and resize some of my original photos so I could put these 4 photos onto this layout. I also have a bit of ephemera we're going to play with later on to add to this layout as well. So this is the Carta Bella cardstock from the kit. This is from the Harvest collection, which I think is a newer line. This is one of the solid cardstock, and this Carta Bella paper does have that texture on it, which I do really like for things like die cutting or backing photos with. Not so much for mixed media or stamping on. That doesn't work so well with this type of cardstock, but the other things do really well. You can die cut on it. It's great for adding, for matting photos with, and it gives you just that little bit of like extra texture, and the paper's really thick and heavy. So I'm going to go ahead and mat all 4 of my photos. I'm going to put them all onto this peachy pink color cardstock and then trim it up, and then our photos are all together and matted. The sketch shows the 4 photos matted on a couple pieces of paper, so I'm just going to go ahead and use this pattern from Fancy Pants that is part of the kit, and I'm actually going to use both the A side and the B side. So I'm going to use this pretty floral pattern. I think this is so cool. It is quite busy. Just use a little of it. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the B side of that same pattern paper. And I'm just cutting the tiniest little bit off of the length so that it won't go right from the top of my page to the bottom of my background. So here are those two patterns, and just like in the sketch, I'm just going to kind of place them onto the paper at a wonky angle so you can see both of the patterns. They're both there and they're kind of just layered up behind my photographs. Next, for all three of the layers, including my photos, I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Distress Tool and some Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo and kind of rough up and ink up the edges of all three of these papers. This floral paper from Fancy Pants was the first paper that sold out from my kit, and then I went ahead and replaced it with a Jen Hadfield paper, and those colors and tones and patterns will work for this layout, whichever one you got, whether you got the original kit with the floral paper or if you got the replacement paper from Jen Hadfield. Now that I have all of those layers behind my photographs distressed and inked up, it's time to show you what I'm going to do about that section of the sketch where the little medallion is and the little cluster. This is the program from the play that I went to see. So if you watched layout number 1, I did a page that had lots of photographs. It was all like the inside of the theater. It actually was all of the areas of the theater where they had displayed like the old posters and different things. I kind of called it the Phantom of the Opera cellar, right? Like that's what it reminded me of. So these photos are of the actual theater where they had the balconies and they had this really ornate stage. And there's a photo of me and my husband and the friends that we went with to go see the play. And then the play that we saw was Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. So I went ahead and tore off the front cover of the playbook that we got, the program, and we're going to add that as the section of where that part is on the sketch. Now, in this layout and in the close-ups, I didn't journal. I left myself space to journal, but honestly, when I sat down to write the journaling, I couldn't come up with words. I didn't know. Everything I wrote was just like, yeah, this was a great play, and we went to see it, and look how pretty the theater was. And I felt like I didn't really need to say that. And there isn't a huge story necessarily. So I still have that place. I'm going to show you what I plan to do. My plan is to, at whatever point that I am inspired to write some actual journaling that actually feels like it needs to be written down, I'm going to print it and put it on little journaling strips below the program where it's like the advertisements and stuff. That's where I plan to put the journaling, so you won't even see that bottom kind of advertisement part of the program. Those words have just not found their way into my headspace to know what I want to say, right? So I definitely want to compose something about how our friends bought us the tickets and we went with them, and a little bit about why the name of the theater kind of matters and how that is reflective of that and things like that. But for now, we're just going to go with it and add that in a little bit later to the bottom of that program in a couple of lines or journaling strips. Now let's grab these flowers and play with those. These are flower ephemera from 49th and Market. Now, from this point on, I am in no way following the sketch anymore. I'm just going off on my own little ephemera cluster tangent. I'm going to go ahead and the flowers there's small ones, medium ones, large ones, and then you can kind of layer them up or use them individually. Now, these are the ivory flowers that were in the original kit list. Those have sold out. I then replaced them with some orange and yellow type, same brand, same type of flowers, just whereas the ones that I had chosen were more ivory and neutral. These are more yellow and orange, but the colors will still work with your whole kit. I made sure of that. So if you got the second set of flowers, they should work with all of these colors as well. And now we've actually sold out of all of the orange and yellow ones, and there isn't another color that I can replace. So those aren't part or on the wish list for this kit anymore. But I am keeping an eye out because I think these might be an evergreen product from Graphic 45, and at some point a Cherry on Top might restock them. We'll see. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my favorite Gilded Aqua pigment and my favorite fan brush. I've layered up all the different flower pieces I want. I've created the flowers I need, and now it's time to splatter them with gold. This is my favorite way to splatter gold splatters. This is it. This is the best. I love it. Absolutely love it. And I will link up a fan brush, not necessarily one I have, but same size from a Cherry on Top. And I will also link up this Gilded Aqua pigment. This is something I use all the time in my craft room. Now I'm going to go ahead and take the gold liquid pearls, and I'm going to add little tiny pearls to all of the flowers. You guys know I'm all about those little details, and I just think this adds so much, both the splattering and then adding those liquid pearls to my flowers. Once the splatters and the liquid pearls and the velveteen glaze have all dried thoroughly, it's time to pool this entire layout together. So I'm going to start by going ahead and adding that brick to the back of the piece that we tore. It should line up pretty perfectly. As long as it lines up at the top. If you have across the bottom like some little bit that hangs off or something, I wouldn't worry about that, but just line it up at the top for sure, so you still have your 12 by 12 paper. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rough up all of the edges along that torn piece. Next, I want to add a bit of gold to this brick. So what I'm doing is I am taking some of the gold liquid pearls. I put a little bit just on my finger, and I am using my finger to kind of finger paint or add little blotchy areas of gold to that peekaboo stenciling. So that is just another way to use your liquid pearls. You don't just have to use them like you use like with, little dots, but you can use them in this way too. And it provides just this lovely pearlescent look to areas of that brick. And after it dries, it looks so good. I love it. And then I'm also going to grab some of my Gilded Aqua pigment, and I grabbed a smaller fan brush this time so I have more control over where the splatters are going to land, and I'm just splattering across that mixed media bricked area. Next, I'm going to take my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, and I'm going to put all of those flowers back into place. Some of them where the entire flower was not going to be seen by, and I wanted to tuck it under, I cut the flower. I had no problem doing that. And I kept the other halves of those flowers for future layouts and other projects as we work through this kit. Next, I remembered that I had to add an arrow to this kit or to this layout to hit all of the sketch or hit all the challenge requirements. I used the sketch, but now I forgot the hour. It's okay. I went through my Kiwi Lane templates. Love, love, love those things. Love my Kiwi Lane templates. And I found this cute arrow that went into a heart, and I thought that that would be absolutely perfect. So I traced it on the back of the Basil Matte Gold paper that's part of the kit. Now, this paper has completely sold out, and there's nothing else like it. So I've just removed it from the list. I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut my arrow now. And that will finish all of my challenge requirements. Be sure to head down in the description box, hop along and say hello to Natalie, Nicole, and Jessica, who are all playing along with this challenge as well. And I will see you again very soon. Just pushing that down. And there we go. We have our arrow all done. Here are all of the beautiful close-ups for my project today. I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.